Hey crafty friends, welcome back to my channel and my craft room. I'm Kelly Wicker and I'm so happy to have you all here. Have you ever added color to a 3D embossing folder or shimmer sprays or both? Because today we're doing it and it's easier than you think. So I hope you stick around to see how I created this card. Okay y'all, so for today's card project share, I'm creating with the Kanga Roo characters etched dies. This is from Spellbinders in collaboration with Simple Stories. This is such a sweet little set. There is 7 thin metal cutting dies. It even includes Roo's tiny bib and a cup. There are more accessory options that you can purchase that are available in the baby accessory set if you want to build out the scene even more. I don't have those, but I will link them down below for you. So for the background, I'm using the Classic Pooh Baby Blocks 3D embossing folder. Let me show it to you real quick. It's really great. And this is also with Simple Stories. It creates a wonderful lowercase alpha block background with 2 busy bee blocks, all framed inside a sweet loop border. One detail I want to point out is that you can actually punch out those blocks using Spellbinders 1-inch square punch, which is sewed separately. Such a fun little detail with this embossing folder. I don't have the square punch, but I will link it down below for you. So for the sentiment set, let me show it to you here real quick. I'm using the Sweet Sentiments press and foil plate and die set with Simple Stories. This one is great time saver when it comes to making sentiments. One press and foil gives you 4 sentiments at the same time, and the matching thin metal cutting die cuts each one perfectly. You can also letterpress these if you prefer. Talk about versatility, y'all. And they like I said, there's some really cute sentiments here in this set. So all of these products are from the Say Cheese Classic Pooh Baby collection with Simple Stories. And the coordination across the collection makes it so easy to create adorable card projects quickly. I am an affiliate with Spellbinders, and Spellbinders sent me these goodies to create with as part of their affiliate program. These 3 products that I'm showcasing today, they sent me. So thank you, Spellbinders. Okay, y'all, before we dive in, I have to show you the 2 cards I've already made with this set. Here they are. They are just so sweet and cute, and seriously, that embossing folder is everything. I really loved playing with it, y'all. I'm gonna show you how I created this background here on this card. Like I said, I just thought this was really sweet. I used Distress Oxide inks here, that's why they're here on my desk. And then I'm also going to use solar sprays. I've been wanting to play with these. I didn't use them on this card here, but today we're going to go ahead and play with them because, like I said, I just wanted to get them out and play with them instead of sitting there staring at them. And so, without further ado, let's get into the card making fun, y'all. Okay, so I've already got everything die cut out and tucked into my medium-sized Spellbinders craft stack tray, and I went ahead and hot foiled the sentiments too, just to save a little time in the video. For my first card, I inked the sentiment with Spellbinders Better Press ink, and then I just had to hot foil them because it's so fun, and I love seeing the differences. I'm using Spellbinders cardstock today, which is my favorite. I pulled a couple of colors so I have choices depending on how the background turned out. I love that Spellbinders adds those etched lines into their dies. It shows you exactly where to place everything, which makes paper piecing super easy. That's what I was showing in the close-up there. For paper piecing, I recommend Spellbinders reverse tweezers because of the pointed tip, plus a pickup tool like the one from Pink Fresh Studio, which I found on Amazon and will have linked down below. For adhesive, I like using a strong glue that I can count on, and I use Barely Arts liquid glue. That's my go-to liquid glue, and I highly recommend it to keep it in one of these fine line bottles. This one is from Spellbinders, and I changed the tip on it. I will have that linked down below what I did because the yellow tip that I had on the original bottle was falling off quite a bit. So I changed the tip out. And then that glue holder I will also have linked down below. That's a little neat glue holder that holds the little fine line bottles. And I highly recommend having it for your desk. Okay, y'all, this is such a cute set to play with, and like I mentioned earlier, you can add more accessories to make really sweet baby cards. I'm really leaning towards the lighter colored Kanga today because my goal for the background is going to be a light pastel look, and I think this fawn colored cardstock one will look great against it. And I could always save the other friend there for another card later on. So these are just so easy to die cut, so it doesn't hurt to make an extra and have it ready to go. Roo is just too cute, y'all. I'm going to add the bib, and I made it pink because I thought it went really well with the background. Okay, so now I'm working on piecing together the second Kanga and Roo after I finish this little Roo here first. Mostly so I can look at them side by side and decide which one works best for the background I have planned. I always like doing this when I'm torn between colors because sometimes you don't really know until you see them next to each other. It's one of those little decisions crafting moments. And honestly, it doesn't hurt to have an extra set ready to go because I can easily save it for another project. These little friends here are just so quick and easy to assemble, and I find it really satisfying to compare them before committing. Okay, now that both Kangas and Roo are pieced together, I wanted to talk about paper piecing for a second because it's honestly one of my favorite parts of die cutting. I talk about this a lot on my channel. I just love paper piecing. It's therapeutic for me. It feels a little bit like putting together a tiny puzzle, and Spellbinders makes it really easy with those etched guidelines. They show you exactly where everything goes so you're not guessing with the smaller pieces. And this is where Spellbinders colored cardstock really shines, y'all. The weight is perfect for layering, crisp edges without adding bulk, and the colors are just so pretty and soft. The fawn shade I used for the lighter Kanga has that sweet storybook vibe that works beautifully with the pastel background that I'm going to make. You can also die cut a few extra pieces in different shades, which I like doing whenever I'm planning a mixed media background. It gives you options without wasting anything. And if you don't use the second Kanga or the other little Roo there today, I'll definitely use it on a future card. So paper piecing in general is just fun and relaxing for me, and having good cardstock makes the process even better. Okay, y'all, so next up I've got my Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cut machine set up and ready to go so I can create my card panel for today. I'm reaching for my trusty A2 Matting Basics A die set, and I'm using the largest die in that set. It cuts the perfect A2 size card panel every single time, and I love having that consistent cut without having to measure or trim. It just keeps everything so neat and clean. I've said this before, but I really do love this set, and the A2 Matting Basics B die set pairs beautifully with it. The two sets together give you a lot of options for layering and matting your card fronts, and I find myself reaching for them constantly. It just makes building a card panel so much faster and more professional looking, especially if you're someone who likes nice even borders and layers. I honestly can't imagine not having these two sets in my die stash. I will have them linked down below for you. Okay, y'all, so next up, I'm going to be adding the color to the 3D embossing folder. This is such a fun technique, y'all. This folder is called Classic Pooh Baby Blocks, and it's just the sweetest design. So I'm using Distress Oxide inks today in 4 colors. I'm going to be using Spun Sugar, Squeezed Lemonade, Twisted Citron, and Tumbled Glass because I wanted a nice soft pastel look. And I'm applying them directly onto the embossing folder. And don't be afraid to do this with your embossing folders. When you do this, make sure you're using the side that has Spellbinders printed on it. That's the embossing side. On this side, the letters will feel raised, and that's what gives you that really nice definition once it's run through your machine. And don't worry about inking directly onto the folder. Distress Oxide inks clean up beautifully with just water and a microfiber cloth. So like I said, don't be afraid. Something fun about this folder, I mentioned this earlier in the video, is that the individual blocks line up perfectly with the Spellbinders 1-inch square punch, which is sold separately. I will have it linked down below. I don't have it in my stash, but I will link it down below for you. So if you want to punch these blocks out and use them as little tiles or accents, the punch fits them exactly and it really is easy to use. So here I'm just lining up the card panel in the embossing folder, seeing where I want it. And then I'm going to make room here to bring up my Spellbinders Platinum 6 to run it through the embossing folder. Okay, y'all, since this is a 3D embossing folder, make sure to follow the Universal Plate System instructions. That's very important. They're written down on the platform. For a 3D folder, you'll use the platform and the D adapter plate and then run it through. So now that this is embossed, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this one. It doesn't look like the first card that I made. The Spun Sugar Pink is really pretty, but it's a little too light for what I was imagining. And the Tumble Glass is pulling a little bit more subtle than usual. And there's a little bit more smear marks that I didn't like. So I just re-inked my oxides recently, well, the Tumbled Glass and the Twisted Citron. So that might be affecting how the color is transferring here. I'm going to think about this panel for a bit and decide if I want to redo it. I'd like the pink to show up a little bit more because I think that will balance so nicely with the baby theme and the lighter Kanga. And here I'm going to show you how to clean it. It's really easy. So I'm just getting out my Distress sprayer and spraying right onto the embossing folder here. And then getting out my microfiber cloth. And like I said, it cleans up super easy. See, it doesn't stain. So don't worry about that when you're doing this technique. And just making sure I get all the leftovers there on the other side. And cleaning up my work surface. So super fun to do. Okay, y'all, so now it's time to play with the awesome Simon Hurley Solar Sprays. Have you tried these yet? They're really cool. I've played with them, and I just love them so much. I hope the camera is picking it up. They don't always show up as well on white cardstock, but they do give this really pretty pearlescent look with a nice shimmer. The only thing I'm noticing is that the spun sugar on this background here is really starting to fade out. And I'm not loving that so much. So I think I'm going to definitely want more of a soft pink, especially for this card design. So, because I really wanted that pastel look, and that's too light for me. So I'm just letting the sprays settle onto the background here. And the shimmer is really pretty. It's just that the spun sugar is way too light and it's kind of getting lost there. So I'm going to be fixing that in the next round. Yeah, just going to redo this background off camera so you don't have to see me do it again. But one thing to remember when using sprays is to have some sort of cloth nearby because you want to wipe off the nozzle so they don't clog. So I'm just playing with a few of the different colors here that I have in my stash and just having fun spraying. So can you all see the solar spray on the background? I can see it catching the light here, and it has such a pretty shimmer. And I have to say, I'm so glad Embossing Folders made a comeback because I absolutely love them. I have a lot in my collection. They add such a nice texture and interest without a lot of effort. Okay, so the first background would have been fine, y'all. But nah, I just wanted to redo it because it was just not the look that I wanted for this card. I'll hang on to it though and use it for another project possibly. So here's the background I redid off camera, and I like this one much better. The spun sugar pink is showing up more here, which is exactly what I wanted. And the tumbled glass and the twisted citron also look much better here on the card panel on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that one. Okay, y'all, it's time to assemble the card and choose our Kanga and Roo. I ended up picking the lighter ones because they match the soft pastel background so nicely, and it gives the whole card a really sweet look. So I'm using my Spellbinders tape runner to start assembling my card there. It's a great tape runner. And I have to tell you a little funny. I think I've mentioned this before in another video or two. But I have to be careful when I'm doing my voiceovers, especially when I have my tape runner out. Because my dog is extremely sensitive to noises. I'm not sure why, but for some reason, the tape runner is one of those noises he can't handle. He'll bark at it like it's out to get us. He's 4 years old. He's a Sheltie. He has amazing hearing, so I just have to try to work around it when I'm doing my voiceovers. I feel bad for him because, like I said, he's just very sensitive to sounds, and he gets anxious when certain sounds start appearing, so it's kind of interesting with him. You can really see the solar sprays on the background now while I am figuring out placement for Kanga and Roo. I was originally going to tuck Roo back into the pouch like I did on the first card, but I decided to change it up and put Roo off to the side there. I'm giving Kanga the little pink cup and popping both of them up with Altenew foam tape for a little dimension. I prepped the sentiments ahead of time, and I really love this one that says, "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." I don't know if this is technically a baby card or not. I'm not sure what category you'd put this one into, but it's a really sweet and uplifting card. I think Altenew foam tape has to be my favorite foam tape. I have it in several different sizes and I reach for it all the time. So what do y'all think of this card? Have you ever tried a technique like this with embossing folders? Let me know down in the comments. There are so many accessories you can buy separately to make the cutest baby cards with this Classic Pooh set and build little scenes with these friends. As I'm finishing up the card here, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching and for being here. Remember to do all the YouTube things, like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you here. I truly love sharing how I make my cards and playing with Spellbinders products. I'll eventually venture out and try some other companies soon, just to change things up a little bit. Thank you again for being here and supporting my channel. My Spellbinders affiliate link will be listed down below, and I appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next card making video. Ciao for now.